Everybody now. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is Tuesday, the 18th of February. I don't feel right calling it February. AD at 2025. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey The Hake Report show, everybody. I hope you do join me. TheHakeReport.com. Isn't that... Look at those. Are those lavender flowers or are they just weeds? I don't know, but it's nice, in my opinion. I'm live on YouTube, I do believe. D-Live, I do believe. The JLP rated the stream over on Hake. Thank you, guys. Pastor Chatelet, I think, is the man who makes it happen. I'm live on punchy.tv/Hake. That's cool. Uncensorable, hopefully. Facebook, what's up, Facebook people? X, of course. Nice. Shout out to the great Big Bump. Thank you for a good show on yesterday, President's Day. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. All you guys, you definitely can. I will be taking your calls if you so please. And if you don't please, that's fine too. Have some news items to get to, such as haven't gotten to news for a while. Mass layoffs in the Southwest Airlines. Well, I probably won't talk about that, but yeah, Southwest Airlines, they're doing mass layoffs. It's crazy. Thanks a lot, Biden, Obama. It's terrible. Delta plane crash upside down. Crazy. I'm excited about the U.S.-Russia talks. Happened unbeknownst to Zelensky, he says, and he will not be participating. I don't know whose choice that is, but I'm okay with it. Because we want peace. And he puts on a stubborn face towards Putin. True or false? True or false? DOGE and the IRS are having a little beef. The liberal media, and they might be right, but I don't think they're right, are pretending like, DOGE, Elon Musk's thing, Department of Government Efficiency, is gonna get our personal information from the IRS. That's not good. Have you seen the IRS lately? They target the Tea Party and all that mess. Crazy flooding across America. Not good. 14 people dead, they say. The Mexican female president, who is Jewish, a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, Sue." They pretend like they're white, and they'll be like, what would a white say? "You touched me, I'll sue." But that's not whites. No white I ever knew sued anybody that I know of. Blacks sue and Mexicans sue and Jews sue more than whites, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But maybe they mix up the Jews with the whites. Shout out. But this Mexican Jewish gal, who's Claudia Sheinbaum or whatever, she's like, I'm going to sue Google because Google is complying with Trump's executive order calling the Gulf of America the Gulf of America, no longer the Gulf of Mexico. But they're giving Mexican people who look at Google Maps, it says Gulf of Mexico. And then the rest of the world sees it as Gulf of America / Gulf of Mexico, or maybe the reverse of that. I'm not sure which. But she wants to sue over that. Talk about an ego. People say Trump has the ego. No, these people have the ego. And they pretend like Trump has the ego, but they're the ones with the ego. Trump is just putting things back where they belong and correcting the situation. My opinion. Oh, Sue. What else? What else is happening in the world? Oh yeah, this sob story of this park ranger who got fired. I'm calling it a sob story because he's talking about wiping the tears from his wife's face. There, baby. He has 2 children, or 1 child and 1 in the oven. So that's 2 children, right? 1 on the way. She's pregnant, I think. And he got fired because he got his dream job as a park ranger. He might be working over here. You're fine. So you'll find a way. I know you can find a way, Mr. Park Ranger, sir. A family man. And other stuff going on in the world. This freckle-faced woman, Julianne Moore. I want to look into who this woman is. Is she one of those pretty, slightly older gals, actress gals? She got her book banned by the DOD. Any schools run by the DOD, Department of Defense. I guess that has to do with military brats. Brats being the children of the people in the military. I think that's becoming more of a problem now because they're putting women in the military too much. Schools run by the by the Department of Defense. They're getting rid of all this DEI mess, LGBTIQ propaganda, and pro freckle face self-acceptance propaganda. Not welcome. Her book got on the military's purge list. I'll have to look into that. I'm not really sure up on the whole thing. And rocking the boat, European leaders are up in arms, according to the ladies at the Skim. This is news from the Skim, these last couple stories here. European so-called leaders up in arms over Vice President J.D. Vance. Based J.D. Vance. He had a recent speech in Munich, Germany. And he said, the threat in all these European countries, just as in America, I'm adding, I don't know what JD said, is quote unquote from within, not Russia or China. And that's true. But they're bristling because it's true. They're bristling because he exposed them, like Jesus, like John the Baptist exposed the corrupt leaders. J.D. Vance is exposing the corrupt European so-called leaders who are destroying their own countries for ego. Right? Right, I say. And there's other mess. Super chats, I think there may be some super chats. I believe so, maybe. We'll get to that. Your calls, like I said, 888-775. Or put a 1 in front of it if you're calling from overseas via Skype. Or if you're calling via Skype at all. 1-888-775-3773. I have to unmute this thing. I'm not sure if the Stream Deck thing would work, Prep Ham Paul, for my case. Because I keep it... I like it complicated. But I appreciate the suggestion. I think we have a Stream Deck here. Not to dox our swag. But anyway, it might work. Now, Bill does it, so maybe I should do it. I don't know. You like the sound of that? That is a nice sound. I like the sound of a motorcycle. Motorcycle. Lin Yen Chin. But, anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. la.
So, how you guys doing? I'm fine. How you like my shirt, huh? Pretty spiffy, huh? I thought it was okay. Some of you guys might think I'm dressing like some dad or whatever. I don't care what you say that much. A little bit, though, I do. I like to heed your advice, especially because I do think that some of you guys, maybe all of you guys, have some advice worth sharing, worth heeding. But regardless, this is what I have on. It's a button-up shirt. And it's blue with a regular pattern on it. Stripy sort of and whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just describing it for the podcast listeners so that you check the thumbnail and you see it. It looks amazing, Hake. Thank you, sir, Buggy. Appreciate that. Hake dressing like a maid. Well, thank you, man. Carver, eh. Sweet. Okay. Shall we get going with some topics? So that I gave you a little bit of the Hake news stuff going on. You know what? I teased it, and if I don't get to it now, I might not. So let's do it. Oh, I could probably find it over here. If I go, I'm over here perusing the HakeReport.com website. News from a Christian alpha male perspective. A line from Asmodor. Rest in peace, our resident historian. Somebody in the Rumble crew. I'm live on Rumble. The Hake Report stated with the super chat. I think it was Age of Inversion. Hake, play the John from Kentucky versus Asmodor conversation from a few years ago. That's an interesting suggestion, man. Maybe I should find that and at least make a clip out of it to put up on the website. Oh, I didn't put the thumbnail like I usually do. But anyway, I'm looking over on my blog post. Oh, I didn't put it up there. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, check this out. So this park ranger over here, I am tired of wiping away my wife's tears and reassuring her that things will be okay for us, he says. That's beta language. Tired? The Bible says, sir, if you're doing good by wiping away your wife's tears, they say the Bible says something like Jesus or somebody, God, one of them, will wipe every tear from their eyes. And reassuring her that things will be okay for us. Sounds like you have some doubt there. Brian Gibbs gives me that job back. He's white though. GIBBS, saying he was quote unquote heartbroken. More beta language to be suddenly, there you go, splitting your infinitive, let go, fired from his dream job. I sympathize a little bit as a park ranger in Iowa. Beautiful Iowa. Brian Gibbs, was one of thousands of federal probationary so-called workers, cushy government job, by the way, sort of, who were terminated last week. A move by our greatest president, Trump's administration. Trump Part 2, back and better than ever. Normally the sequel is worse. They call it a lame duck presidency. The sophomore slump. For those of you guys who are artists, say you come out with a debut album. Yeah, it's derivative. It sounds like this band or that band, but it's so good. And then you come out with your sophomore album, your second album, and you're trying to be artsy, trying to strike out on your own, trying to replicate that magic of the moment living from the moment, but you're replicating it. It just doesn't sound good. Nobody likes it. Except for the diehard fans who are just lying to themselves that it's good. But Trump, he seems better than ever. Or am I wrong? Am I one of those diehard fans who's just blind to it? No. I think he came back stronger. I'm glad he lost now, the 2020, quote unquote. To decrease the overall federal workforce, they fired thousands of so-called workers, right? He told Commie Nonsense Network, talking to CNN, first mistake, unless you're a pro-America guy arguing with Piers Morgan. JLP was on Piers Morgan's show on Commie Nonsense Network at least a couple of times. Or at least once with the Trayvon thing, Martin. He was a thug. He wasn't an innocent kid tiptoeing through the tulips. Telling Commie Nonsense Network he and his wife are expecting their second child. Oh, did he say that line? We're expecting? Is he a male feminist? This summer, and how he's now one of many trying to figure out what to do next. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like is he a Hake? Are you watching right now, Brian Gibbs? I'm not meaning to bash you too hard. Don't dox and harass him. Brian Gibbs in chat. He looks like he might listen to Hake. A nice guy. Shout out. I like this arrowhead thing. American Indian arrowhead shape. That's what that looks like, doesn't it? I used to buy arrowheads made out of like obsidian or something, that black thing, and wear it around my neck because I went to Indian Village. He looks like he came straight from Indian Village, and looks a little bit like an overgrown child like Hake. Hey. Brian Gibbs. That's him. Park ranger. Now you're going to have to do a real job, not some federal cushy government job. He looks like he might have maybe had some standards. Make sure you get fit, man. You're a father of two. I know that the China virus scare and danger is largely past, but you want to make sure you're fit, man. Trust me. Anyway, so that's him. His wife is crying. He means she doesn't have faith in him. He's heartbroken to be let go in the federal cuts. Well, if he is a good worker, maybe they'll hire him back, because they've hired some of these people back. Gray and green park ranger uniform. That's gray? I think of that as sort of a tan or brownish, but maybe it's gray. Teaching people about Iowa's Effigy Mounds National Monument. Education technician, he is. Walked in ready to prepare lesson plans for classroom visits to 2 schools. He knew the trouble of facing the federal workforce, but he had no idea Friday would be his last day. Must have been a recent hire. He doesn't have that seniority. Father and civil servant. Took to Facebook. Oh, no. Been shared. Wonder if this is the thing that he shared. I wonder if I'm logged in. Facebook and Instagram / Meta, they are obnoxious. Oh, good, I am logged in. Follow Hake on Instagram. I am absolutely heartbroken and completely devastated to have lost my dream job of an... Don't harass this person, okay? I don't see Brandon... I'm blanking on your last name, Brandon, in the Odyssey chat. He's the exception. Lost it. Oh, yeah, on Valentine's Day. He put meaning into Valentine's Day, kind of. Or was he? The access to government email denied mid-afternoon. Position ripped out from under my feet. Shift was over at 3:45 on a cold, snowy Friday. Additionally, hey, it's better to be fired on a Friday than it is on a Monday, right? I think so, because then over the weekend you're normally used to being off over the weekend. That's when you can look for another job or wipe your wife's tears from her eyes or cheeks or whatever. Additionally, before I could fully print off my government records, locked out of my electronic personal file contained my secure professional records. I'm a father, a loving husband, dedicated civil servant. oath of office to defend and protect the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay, good. Then you should be happy about this, I think. I'm a work evaluation that reads, exceeds expectations. I am the fat on the bone. I am being trimmed as a consequence of the popular vote. Nice. I'm a United States flag raiser and folder. My son's junior ranger idol. I'm one of the place where I told my spouse I loved her. Of the place? Whatever. I'm a college kid's dream job. Smiling face that greets you at the front door. Your family vacation planner, voice for 19 American Indian cultures. This is making me scroll. Let's say highlight that, and that way I don't lose my spot. You know what I mean? This is too long, man. You know he's white. I'm a protector of 2,500-year-old American Indian burial and ceremonial mounds. Defender of your public lands and waters. Motivation. This is all like poetic and drama. No wonder CNN brought him on. Shout out, man, though. You lost your job. Hey, rough, tough times. Got to tighten up that belt. Generation cycle breaker. Toilet scrubber, soap dispenser. Open trail hiked by people from all walks of life. Mainly, though, the Asians and whites, though, I will have you know. I would think, especially in Iowa. A Band-Aid for a skinned knee. Highlight of your child's school day. Lesson that showed the world is blah, 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 blah. Gifts, not commodities. Gratitude and reciprocity are doorway to true abundance, not power, money, or fear. Blah, 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 blah. Poetic mumbo jumbo, shout out. I told your child they belong on this planet. No, it's he or she belongs, not they. No child is a they. His or her unique. Just say his, right? His means his or her. Told your child he belongs on this planet, that his unique gifts and existence matters. Oh, Lord, my kid didn't, if I had one, didn't need to be hearing that from you, dude. I'm glad I'm not in Iowa. I am an invocation for peace, gone from the office. I am the resistance. What? Mostly I'm just tired. I'm tired from weeks of being bullied and censored by billionaires. I'm tired of waking up every morning, 2 a.m., wondering how I am going to provide for my family if I lose my job. I am tired of wiping away my wife's tears and reassuring her things will be okay for us and our growing little family that she's carrying. Things are not okay. I am not okay. Man, you need counseling with JLP. All is well, man. This is the second time under 5 years a dream job I worked for has been eliminated. Now I need to uproot my family again. Stay present. Don't avert your gaze. Fare thee well, Ranger Brian. Green heart emoji, he states. And then here's his, look, here's his little kid, I think, or some little kid. Effigy mounds. Look at those white people. We're looking at pictures that he posted on his Facebook. Look. I don't know whose kids these are, if they're his or what. Because apparently it looks like he works with children. Yeah, this looks like it gotta be him, his kid. Little blonde kid, looks like his mama maybe. Look. I don't know. She looks like a liberal. But I don't know, ma'am or miss. No, it's a ma'am. Wife, right? We're looking at beautiful photos of this man in front of nature with, I guess, maybe his child. And in this case, in this picture, his wife. Nice. Well, thank you, sir. But don't be part of the resistance. Resistance against what? Against Trump? Against making America great again? Against cutting down the... You well know the government is bloated and ridiculous. Evil beta. Shout out. So Another hit piece, I guess, from Commie Nonsense Network to cast Trump as this and Elon Musk as these bad people, because a lot of times people have to face some tough times when you cinch up that belt and gotta cut the fat off the bone. What a mess. So cry about it. Here he is with a bunch of, it looks like a class of young people. June 2024, he helped educate visitors about the more than dozen American Indian tribes. Thank you for calling it American Indian, Commie Nonsense Network, CNN. Hey. Associated with the park, he said. Right on. Look at that, those clouds. Very nice, man. Very nice. Government workers tend to be quite well paid compared to the private sector, I think. Unless the private sector are not actually private, they're union commie jobs, then they get overpaid too. And that contributes to inflation, I say. Very nice background. Any other cool pictures? Nope. Let's see what the bottom thing says. Oh, Lord. Things are not okay. I am not okay. Well, enough with your melodrama, sir. That's what happens sometimes. I think it's just. Nothing wrong. No harm done, really. You'll be fine in the long run. It's kind of like we suffered by the Biden administration. It was evil. Biden is evil. And losing your job can be rough, but it's better for you in the long run. It's better for the country in the long run. And yeah, have the teachers learn something and teach you. You know? Cry more, park ranger. Anyway, thank you for bearing with me through that. Where is the godly in you, James, about your fellow humans? Asks Ike the man. How exactly did you specifically suffer, Hake? Self-imposed. Self-imposed. Just like that guy, it's self-imposed all that worry and drama. Because he has enough money to get on with a few days, right? A few days till he gets his McDonald's job. You'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. That was mean, Hake. What? When I said cry more, park ranger? I don't think it's mean. I think it's just. It's tough love. It's true love. He's part of the resistance. He's an enemy of America. He has declared himself an enemy of America. But we all have enemies of America, and we all are enemies of America, ourselves and one another. Because we're identified with the Satan, with the worry. Jesus said, do not worry. What's he doing? Worrying. But then he turns around and talks out of both sides of his mouth, meaning contradicts himself, meaning speaks in vain, saying, stay present. He wasn't staying present. Talking about billionaires censoring him. Welcome to the club. Everybody's being censored. Hey, easy for you to say with that cushy job and no wife or kids. Angry face emojis. That's right, it is. I'm not some sucker sap trying to get a dream job, teaching little kids stuff about the mountains. Oh, there's no mountains in. That looked like sort of mountainous in Iowa. I thought Iowa was just all flat plains. I stand by what I said. It's a hit piece. That's all it is. It's a hit piece. He's being used. Commie Nonsense doesn't care about him. Oh, there. We care about you. No, you don't. Phonies. Ridiculous. You sound jealous, man. Not going to lie. NGL means not going to lie for the boomers. Jealous? I'm not jealous. I like my job. I can go to the beach any day I want, probably. Or drive to the mountains if I want. But I don't necessarily because I got responsibilities. Hake got no legacy, says Golden Rule TV. Yeah, I know, especially if those billionaires keep censoring us. But I don't really care about them, and they don't really care about us. Who cares about a legacy? When you're dead, you're dead. What, you want to be remembered? I like Mike. Mike Tyson was right. You don't have a legacy. You'll be fine. There are plenty of opportunities to get another job, do what you want to, whenever you want to. There's no one to stop you. As the late, great, at music anyway, Elliott Smith said. Okay? You can do what you want to. You'll be fine. Start a GoFundMe. Take advantage of the sympathetic suckers' money who want to donate to you and your wife and your little ones, your little family that she's carrying. I shake my head. Humanity. You mean communism, emotional communism, emotional blackmail, as the great J.D. Vance said. I don't fall for that mess. Give me a break. Why are whites becoming a minority? Which attitude? I'm not listening to him. It's just that line gets stuck in my head. But anyway, talking about Elliott Smith. I want to get to a black lady. Beautiful SHAWN in Florida is on the line here. SHAWN in Florida, it's good to hear from you again. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
Nice.
Be better sometimes.
You said you'll be better sometimes?
Yeah, could be better sometimes. We all
Right.
go through the trials and.
Indeed, we all do. The chat
Well-
doesn't think Hake goes through anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're human. You're human.
Right.
Like everybody.
That's right.
You're not alone. But I wanted to ask your perspective on the recession, as we would call it, like with the inflation is beginning to show its ugly head.
Yeah.
And there's been this, you probably have heard of it, that even some years ago, this type of a prepper movement was going on then.
Yeah. Before and going into the Obama administration, right?
Right.
I remember that.
The big trend, and it was a lot on the YouTube, but they were the type of preppers like this. They were like more like militant preppers.
Oh, like ready to defend themselves with guns against robbers and martial law and apocalypse.
Yeah, like that type. Yeah, so
zombie.
You remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember that big phase that was going through. But in the last maybe several years, maybe couple of years after that time period, the last couple of years, it's some other type of preppers. They're not like that. They are, like more like can your fruit and vegetables, and build up your pantry.
Yeah.
And build your water up and stuff like that.
Right.
And if the grid goes down, make sure you have a generator to, and compared to those two type of preppers, I mean, I know some people can be nuts, be worrying about, too many things. But now, you just said something like, I forget what it was, what you just said. You just said something about did Jesus contradict yourself or something. You were saying a particular thing. but I do know he said this. He said, watch as well as pray. And that is somewhere in the Bible. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but if it's research, he did say, like, watch as well as pray. So, and then, he says things like, be harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So, a serpent, if you get in front of a snake, his eyes are watching your every move. Like, he knows where you're going to move to. But a dove is not going to hurt you.
Uh-huh.
So those two different things are not contradicting, but
right.
pairing them together. And then he tells you to go to the ant, like sluggard, like the lazy person, go to the ant who prepares in the summer, prepares in summer for the winter. So I think that's the type of preppers that are a lot going on now. Now, these preppers here were, talking about this type of thing that's going on with the inflation that was coming, the recession, and, our current president. And now, if he has to do tariffs, like I said, diplomacy goes a long way. And, I think if you told other countries, now we have to do a tariff to repair our economy. But if y'all need to do a tariff to, kind of balance out for the time that we have to do it, then so be it. But, we don't want them hating us. But, Canada hates us now.
Well, they always hated us. Basically,
you think so?
But in that they hate the liberals in Canada, just as the liberals everywhere hate the conservatives, if you will.
Oh,
and right now the conservatives are running, if you will, right? I'm using the term conservative very loosely. The conservatives, if you will, are running America. And we're not letting Canada get off easy without tariffs and accommodating us better. And so that's an excuse for the liberals to express their hatred for conservatives. And it's not as though conservatives don't hate the liberals, too. The conservatives are guilty for hating liberals, too, oftentimes, most of the time.
Right, yeah.
Right.
But I didn't know Canada was as liberal as they are.
Right. Socialist.
At one time I did. Yeah. So I really didn't know that they were like that. But
I didn't either until Justin Trudeau came on the scene. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
Comparing some of the things, the way they do certain things to this over here.
Yeah.
And now we have a more conservative president. It's going to show, kind of show up more clearly.
That's true.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah, so it just,
Trump really exposed. He's like the light shining in the dark, huh? He exposes a lot.
And like I say, every president is different, but you have to respect them.
Yeah.
They are, because the Bible does say you have to respect your leaders. You may not agree with everybody about everything.
Right.
You can respectfully disagree about certain things or have your opinion, but but you have to respect authority, do things the right way. But so I was wondering, well, what do you think about the prepping dynamic for inflation? Before you answer, I saw this program on Channel 24, public broadcasting, TV, years ago, and my mind wasn't in any way on anything like this. I just happened to have it on Channel 24, maybe some kids programs, something like that. But they had a lot of educational programs that came on through Channel 24. The channel that Sesame Street came on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the channel.
Okay.
Public broadcasting system.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching this program came on one time. It was like a little. These two men were walking through the market, and they were walking through the market like an outdoor market, and they went into a grocery store, and they went into the market where people were selling fruit and vegetables, but they were talking about eggs. Eggs was their topic, and they were saying if you watch the eggs in an economy or something like that, it's been a long time, so I can't quite remember it fully, but I do know they were centering on eggs and talking about watching the eggs how the eggs sell or what happens with the eggs. Because I guess they would mean like the eggs is such a staple of our economy.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into Walmart the other day, and there was one carton of eggs left in the freezer, and that was open. And they said something about the eggs on the news.
Yep.
And people are acting a fool about the eggs
Yeah.
going in. So this is what's going to be out here. People are going to be going, because they wait until the last minute to prep. They're not growing their own food. This is the type of preppers that's like biblical type preppers. Now, the last several years, if you paid any attention to, like building your pantry, not going crazy,
Right.
buying up all the tissue from everybody like they do it during COVID.
Right.
But just, so the eggs, it was something about that little program years ago about the eggs. So something is going on with the eggs now.
That's true. They're
So,
expensive. They're short supply.
Yeah, so that it was supposed to be something. I think they were trying to get at the eggs would be a hint to what's going on in what's going to go on in the whole market.
Ah.
The whole. So I guess, but there was a time that wasn't of inflation of anything, but I guess they knew from studying, I think they were globalists, something like a globalist type of individual men who had the job of studying how economies go in different parts of the world. Because I found it's people that do that, And so I guess from history repeating itself in different times, whether it was, countries that went through communism or
Right.
countries that, whatever the reason it was, they were talking about the eggs. So we got something going on with eggs now.
I don't know what's going to happen. We could be falling on tough times. I don't know. I'll be crying and begging forgiveness of that crying resistance park ranger who got fired, because I'm going to be crying on screen, wiping the tears from my wife if I had one's eyes,
Right.
or ex-girlfriend if I had one, and saying it'll be okay, baby. I don't know. It totally could. I've been thinking that. I was thinking years ago, during the Biden administration, that it could well happen that we get a major recession or even a depression once they let Trump back in office, because they set it up to destroy the country, destroy the whole world economy, if you will.
What this man said about the tariffs, he said, people are saying about the tariffs who is it gonna affect more? Will it be the countries that are tariffs, or will it fall on the consumer?
It'll both. It'll affect us both, but it'll be a correction for the country. I think it'll be a cinch up your belt a little bit more, but it's all in the long run. It's good for everybody, really.
But to look at how other cultures eat, I'm saying, like when people are trying to figure out how they're going to make it, and a lot of the public agency programs are changing, because that's already being cut back and stuff. So people will be panicking how they're going to eat. But if you look at how other cultures eat, like England, have you ever eaten this Hake? Have you ever eaten like beans on toast?
Yeah, I've eaten stuff sort of like that, cheap stuff,
Right.
like a simple meal that doesn't necessarily even have meat. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Well, that's how they eat. That's how they eat in England. They eat that dish in England, so that's not a very expensive meal.
Right. There's cheap ways to eat, and a lot of people waste major money on eating out, ordering in, or
microwavable stuff, microwavable box.
Yeah, and some of that stuff isn't even the most expensive, but true.
But the rice and beans, like the culture, like a lot of the Latin cultures, they eat very, like the rice and beans. That's a good way to season up your beans and your rice, and put a seasoning piece of meat in it if you have it.
True.
And, so that's economical.
That's right.
And it was another meal I saw from another culture, because the cultural different. It's good to learn from each other because that's how we're supposed to be doing.
That's
as a
right.
brother man. That you can learn from each other. They know how to like the farming dynamic of. You might not be a full-out farmer, but what I'm saying, like growing certain things, the supplementary meals. So people better really get on this and start paying attention to how can I feed my family economically, but it may not be what I want, but to have a meal, like they might have to cut down. It may not be 3 meals a day. We eat a good meal and maybe something lighter later, when the recession fully hits. But the way I look at it is if you prepare in a certain way, you won't be standing in the lines out and people panicking and you're out in the lines trying to rush and get.
I really like that advice, Shawn. Save your money. Spend wisely. I think we've gotten a generation or two too far past the Great Depression. My grandparents went through the Great Depression. They were both sides were very thrifty, very frugal, appropriate.
Well,
And
that's a guy hadn't thought
my
of that.
parents and uncles and aunts, them too, very responsible with their spending. They didn't. And they saved money and did well for themselves that way. And they worked. And I think that we would be wise to heed your warning. Thank you, Shawn. That's cool.
And because and one more thing,
Real quick.
Trivia fact.
Okay.
You remember Barbara Walters?
Yeah. Is she dead now?
Well, yeah, she passed. She was about 90, probably about.
Wow.
Like well, she said that to break the ice with her parties, like when new people are getting together with each other, and everybody's kind of standing around, don't know what she would do when she threw a party, like had a group of people like at her home. She would come up, because she's a news reporter lady.
Right.
She would come up with a topic, whether it was a hot topic or something like that, and she would throw that out there for them to get, started on conversation with each other. We got so many hot topics now, but that was something that I had heard about her doing when she was, younger. And so I thought that was a good idea. So you can get a lot of good ideas from different people.
That's true. Yeah, culture. Definitely.
Well, that's good talking to you.
Yeah, good to hear from you. Okay. Appreciate hearing from you. Thanks as always.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye. Beautiful Shawn. It's a white thing too, and it's a sensible thing to learn from other people. You Jew critics, learn from those Jews. You black critics, learn from the blacks. Nice. And I didn't keep her on for 50 minutes. Last time I talked to her, one of the recent times anyway, I kept her on for 50 minutes, 52. Because we were talking about, I think, the Bible. Very nice. She's cool. She's younger than she sounds, by the way. She's just country. Ardene in Colorado is on the line over here. Ardene, thank you for calling and holding. How are you doing?
Hi, doing good.
Nice.
I was just wondering, how come you guys you make a point with the deep state and all this stuff going on in the country?
Yeah.
I completely understand. I totally agree with that. But why don't you attack where it really is at? It is not with the there is fraud in the there's small levels of fraud. I agree. With the defense, I actually worked defense for years in Westlake Village, California.
Wow!
And I worked for a corporation. I was working on F-16s at the time.
Awesome.
The fighter ships, and we were working on it, and we finished the contract. This was in the 90s. Oh no, it was in the 70s. Yeah, 70s. and we finished the contract.
Can I
And it
interrupt
was,
you? Let me interrupt you. Are you on can you come
Sure.
on regular phone?
Oh, okay, the speaker? Okay,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I think you're on speaker, and it's a little tinny.
Tinny? Okay, got
tinny
it.
for my taste.
Tinny? Okay. Tinny
Yeah.
for your taste.
Yeah.
Is that better? Is that better?
Oh, yeah, that's a lot better. I appreciate it.
Okay, good. I was actually on Bluetooth, my Bluetooth, but they
Oh,
are
okay.
good Bluetooth earbuds. But hey, I'll just stand the tinny.
I appreciate it.
With the when I was working for the company, we did something with Department of Defense. Worked for them for years, about 40 years.
What in the world? Ardene got disconnected. Oh. Okay, so call back, Ardene. She mentioned the F-16. I think if that's her, you can put her right on hold. There.
What?
Is that you, Ardene?
Yeah. Did you hang up on me on purpose or what?
Of course not.
Okay. So I was just like, okay. When I was working in the company, we finished the contract. It was great. We're all proud of ourselves. There was about 300 people working on it.
Okay.
And they called us in a meeting, had bagels, the whole thing for us. It was
Hey.
really cool. And they said, we love that you did it under budget and with zero defects, but don't do it again because they will cut our budget.
Right. I know that's one of the things I was trying to bring up or thought of, but couldn't express as clearly as you just did with Big Bump yesterday. I don't know if you heard my call.
That's where, that is where I saw it. And I actually saw it a lot.
Yeah.
I saw it another place too. And because I worked it for 40 years, Defense Electronics.
Nice.
So I know exactly what it was. And what bothers me, though, is why can't you guys go where it really is at, the deep state? And it's at Citizens United. Why aren't you guys talking about that?
Citizens United, I know a little bit about. Citizens United is...
big money.
It's an example. Is Citizens United a lobbying company?
Citizens United was passed by Supreme Court. It gave businesses. They related businesses to a person. It gave them the right.
Yeah.
Of
Mays talks about this all the time.
The thing with that is it's making capitalism a very corrupt government. It really honestly is. Now, when a pharmaceutical
are you considered a conservative or a liberal or a centrist in your mind? You
conservative? I'm on the liberal side, but I'm more of a centrist.
Okay.
Cool. I'm more on the liberal side, though, and and I think we need to get to the root of it. Mm-hmm. We need to stop the lobbyists dead in their tracks. We need to stop the big money, the CPACs, the APACs. We need to stop that. We need to stop campaign contributions in the excess of millions of dollars. They have a budget to work with. That's it. Over and done with. End of subject. We need to stop gerrymandering. These are things that really honestly need to be stopped to have not a corrupt capitalistic society, and it is corrupt. It is very corrupt.
I could believe that a lot of what you're saying there's some truth to it. Citizens United was or is, I guess, or whatever, a conservative organization founded in the 80s, I guess, 1988.
Yeah.
In 2010, the organization won a U.S. Supreme Court case known as Citizens United versus FEC, Federal Election Commission. Was it the Obama Federal Election Commission that sued them? And they took them to the Supreme Court? Took each other to the Supreme Court?
As far as it was about 15 years ago, it's been going on for a long time, Citizens United. And
no, I know, but the lawsuit that when they tried to I don't know.
I don't know. I actually don't know on that one. I'm sorry. I do apologize. But that is where, as an example, another example, pharmaceuticals. That is the biggest thorn in my side possible. is the pharmaceutical industry.
Uh-huh.
As an example, what everybody is putting on fentanyl, as far as fentanyl coming over the borders, totally agree. We don't need, this world does not need more opiates. True, I don't have cancer and I'm not dealing with stuff like that, so I can't speak on that level. But I'm an older person too, so I can't speak on opiates. But I had a previous husband. He died of a massive heart attack.
Ooh.
But prior to that, he was an fentanyl, opiate, Oxycontin addict.
Oh.
And it was through the pharmaceutical company. It was all prescribed drugs that he got in the 90s. It was all prescribed drugs. It was nothing illegal. He was getting in fentanyl patches and sucking on them. I had to throw things away because I found him doing this. Now, our pharmaceutical company made a whole country full of addicts. And that's where the problem lies. We don't have a drug coming over problem to very novice, very uneducated people. We have very educated drug addicts over here in the United States.
Yeah.
And they know their medicines. And my husband got it all legal. He wasn't shopping for doctors. He wasn't shopping for pharmacies. He got it all legal. He had handfuls of Oxycontin, handfuls of it. And that was all legally prescribed. That's where the problem lies. We have been addicted to opiates for so long that countries come in and they have total control over us because they're handing us the opiates. You got it in a barrel right there.
Interesting.
We don't have a border problem more than we have an opiate problem here in the United States.
I will have you know that
problem.
If you want national sovereignty, you have to have closed borders. And I'm not talking about the drugs coming across the borders necessarily. Although that is, you don't want that coming across. That should be stopped regardless. But they're replacing the native white American population who are more conservative, sensible.
Don't go there.
I'm going there. It's my show. I can go there. What do you mean don't go there?
The native white population?
Yes.
How about the native indigenous population?
They're like a distant memory. I'm talking about the native white American population.
They're like the owners of the land. They were the owners of the land.
I know, but we own it now. We the white American native population.
We stole it from them.
In some cases, maybe we did, but in other cases, we rightfully conquered it, and in other cases, we bought it properly. So give it up, woman. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a liberal.
Where we buy it?
You're liberal.
Where we buy it? How we buy it?
From
Where
them.
we buy it? Honestly,
from them, from the French, and many other places. Don't be a crybaby about that stuff. Do you really want to get off? Is the big pharma really the most important thing, or do you want to argue about this? Because I'll go either way.
Big pharma.
Okay, well then come off of your crybaby stuff about the American Indians.
They were.
I said come off of it.
Bye.
Oh, you're gonna click. Okay, nice. I bet you guys wish I did that with Sean, but no, Sean's too nice. Shout out Ardene. I love the boomer ladies. Sean might be Gen X, but Ardene is a boomer. Shout out. Stolen land. I told her to come off of it because we can deal with big pharma. Okay, so I would like to give a little bit of a response to what she said, though. She wanted to hang up. I didn't want her to hang up necessarily. Crazy lady. Shout out. Hake, that was the very best outcome. I wasn't trying to make her get mad and hang up. I was just trying to get her under control. Whoosh, you got to get control of the conversation. Because you mention something, and they just go off. It's like if I mention the flat Earth or the ball Earth or something amidst something else making a bigger point. They get hung up on this. Or if I mention Sean Hannity making a good point about Obama lying. They're like, Sean Hannity is a whatever you want to say about Sean Hannity. Or if I mention, you care too much about something, you get distracted by it. Shout out. But what I would like to say about the big pharma thing, yeah, maybe money is a corrupting influence in America. But the people are already corrupt. It's the corruption of the evil hearts of the people. That they are such suckers that they'll take the opioids and trust the doctors and get hooked on that mess. It's the corruption of the people to vote over and over and over again for the bumps on a log, phony politicians who are just living high on the hog in the swamp called DC or called Sacramento or wherever. It is that stuff. We've got the right man for the job. Bobby Kennedy, yes. RFK Jr. I think he's the right man for bringing a little bit of focus on health. I think he'll do better than Big Mama Michelle with her Let's Move campaign, give you cardboard instead of real tasty school lunch. You don't want so much tasty food. I learned from this Jewish guy who is a bodybuilder and knows a lot, PhD. He said, you get limit all your tasty food, you know? Eat some more veggies and fruits or meat if you want to do the carnivore diet. Some people in that case, I guess you could do that. But also get a little fiber, I think. Everything doesn't have to be like that really, really tasty, good stuff that gets you fat, not fit. Trump is the man for the job. Here's an example of an evil woman who pretends like she's so uncorrupt because she doesn't take corporate money or whatever, or big donations or whatever. She brags that she's poor, supposedly. Cortez, Sandy Cortez, she has a corrupt, evil heart. It doesn't matter about money. Money is not the main problem. I don't think. He consults Jewish dietitians. Well, he expresses himself well because he's Jewish. He has high verbal IQ. And it's also that makes him entertaining too. If you're not black, at least be Jewish if you want to be entertaining. Yeah, so it's the evil hearts of the people. The users. You got to blame the users as well as the dealers and the people who are taking the money. So, yeah, but they are subverting the whites. The native white population tends to be a bit more independent thinking in America, a bit more sensible per capita on some level, some practical, physical level in terms of civilization. Irish are entertaining too. Yeah. And Italians a little. Robert Davi on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Big Pharma is the problem, not the deep state, not the permanent bureaucracy. I don't know. Let's say they're both wrong. I would like for the government not to be so involved in the health world. I would like for lawsuits not to be so frivolously accepted, but I don't know how that's going to change. because I feel like the frivolous lawsuits. I heard that, that pharmaceutical companies, vaccine makers, can't be sued for their stuff. Interesting. Okay, so that's one lawsuit. Maybe I would let go through. I'm not sure though. It's hard to prove. But I feel like lawsuits and insurance and government meddling and the health world, the insurance world, and all of that is, and subsidizing those things is making the prices go up and complicating and over-regulating and all that stuff. Okay. Nice. We're past the top of the hour. My goodness. I'm sure I have some super chats to read. Let me get to a few of those, and then I'll get back to the calls. Shout out to somebody subscribed, I think, over on rumble.com. Let me see if I can. Oh, yeah. Quartus41, now a monthly supporter. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That's cool. Age of Inversion supporter, I think. Nice. D Live crew. What's up, Beta Legs, Pot Leaf? Thank you guys and gals. Misty over there, always. Popcorn, you always supporting. Gotcha, man. Lin Yan Chin, Gregatron. Thank you guys and gals and people. What's up, Lisa? Lisa says on the Facebook crew, she didn't like anyone else's opinion other than her own. Offended instantly. LOL, lots of laughs. Haha, she stomped off. Indeed. Mildly bossy. 2, ban the word. I remember 10 years ago or so, they were going to ban the word bossy. Ban bossy. Because don't call girls bossy. I like Ardene. Is she the one with the black husband who's more conservative? Or, I don't know. I'm mixing up my boomers or whatever they are. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Manuel in California. I was just thinking about you the other day, Manuel. Hope all is well. Good to hear from you.
How you been?
Been well. Thanks, man.
Nice. So, you hear about this $4.7 trillion that the DOGE found at the Treasury that can't be accounted for?
I did not. Was this a recent news thing that broke today or yesterday or something?
Yesterday.
Cool.
So, you want to do a little math?
All right.
How much do you think 4.7 trillion is per citizen, that it costs per citizen?
Let's
take a guess.
Dude, okay, 330 million. I don't know, like
$14,000.
$14,000 per person?
Per citizen.
And that's what they found? They found it or they discovered that it's missing?
They discovered that it's missing. $4.7 trillion went to the Treasury. And then from the Treasury, it went out somewhere else where they cannot trace it any further.
Uh-huh.
That's $14,000 of your taxes per 330 million citizens.
That's crazy, man.
I've told you, like, I'm a numbers guy, so I'm like, oh, wow. I wonder if you put $14,000 down more on a $300,000 loan at 6% for 30 years, you would have saved $20,000 to $25,000 in interest off your loan.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't have to pay rent. I'm sure you pay over $1,000 in rent, but imagine if you didn't have to pay rent for a whole year. That would have been the equivalent to what has gone missing. And that's just one area that they've looked.
Wow.
Wild, dude.
Shout out to DOGE.
I know. if I can sell him my body, my soul, not my soul, it's God's, but if I can sell him my body, I would, because what they're doing is amazing.
Sell who
All
your
this
body?
corruption.
Sell your body to whom?
I'd sell it to Elon. I'd say, Elon, take my body, do your Neuralink, make me walk, do whatever you want with me. Let me be your guinea pig. I do not care anymore.
Put your hope and trust in Elon Musk.
Heck yeah. Well, look, if he can find that much wasted money,
Yeah.
just imagine what else is out there.
Right.
Like I've called in and told you plenty of times about the EPA or the California Air Resource Board about the emissions on diesels.
Yeah.
And if they got into that, if he ever researched that, I guarantee they're going to see like that they've been screwing everybody.
That's interesting.
Everybody.
A
I
racket.
used to have an older Dodge that got 20 to 25 miles to the gallon. And now there's no way you can find a diesel that'll even come close to 8 miles to the gallon. They started
Wow.
putting all the EGR valves, the DPF, the DEF. Like they started putting all these little things on the vehicles, and it makes it less reliable, less efficient, and more expensive to maintain.
Wow.
Just think of an engine. All an engine really is air in and air out. The faster and the more you can put in, the more power you'll get out.
Uh-huh.
So what a diesel, you see like the black smoke. What they're doing is they're plumbing some of that black smoke back into the motor, which is CO2. That's not ignitable. It's already been ignited. So now you're just putting like wasted fuel back in the cylinders. Well, that starts building up on the intake, on the pistons, the valves. Like it just makes it less and less efficient.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's interesting. I've heard that there is such a thing as clean diesel. Europe has it, and America has never adopted it, I don't think, for some reason. But there was like a diesel, my cousin, I think, or somebody, living over there somewhere for a while, had like a diesel Volvo or diesel Volkswagen or something. And it got like 40 plus miles to the gallon easily.
Right.
Or more.
Right.
And I remember a car guy, my old boss at my old job was a car guy, and he would talk about that type of thing. It a little bit went over my head, but that's another example of these regulations that are counterproductive,
Right.
I think.
Right. I bet you that vehicle your cousin had didn't have the DPF or a DEF system on it.
Yeah.
All that is like a filter on the exhaust. So imagine a straw. If you blew air through a straw, and it just in and out, it'd blow through.
Right.
Once you start putting once you start putting stuff, sorry,
Okay.
I'm bad with words.
And I'm laughing. Bad influence.
Oh, I'm excited. Whenever I get excited, look.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, imagine putting a bunch of filters, like cigarette filters, inside the straw and then blowing through it. It'd
Yeah.
be a lot harder.
Right.
So that's your engine trying to blow that exhaust out. So when you have back pressure like that, it makes the motor less efficient, makes it vibrate more.
Wow.
It's not air in, air out. Now it's like blocking the flow of it. And all that does is just cause more problems. So then that filter builds up with that black soot, and then it's just clogged up. Then you got to take that off, go take it off to be cleaned. And you know how you saw your Cadillac converter, $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Well, diesel was like $2,000 to $3,000.
Man. That's crazy.
Terrible. Yeah, the way you handled Ardene was pretty good. I like that. I get tired of hearing people cry about this whole stolen land from Indians.
Yeah. Come on. Come off it. You're a boomer. You should know better.
Right. What infrastructure was stolen if we stole anything from them? Did they have roads built, buildings? Oh, they just had teepees. Okay, I wouldn't consider that a building.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider that infrastructure stolen. I understand the situation they were in probably wasn't the greatest, but when people like white people come around, they like building stuff.
That's
houses, roads, skyscrapers, rockets,
Yeah.
not just sitting around all day.
And a lot of white people, many, I don't know if it's most or what, but white people tend to want to cooperate. People would like to cooperate, but there's neither of them could cooperate in some cases, and so they fought or whatever. And the stronger side won. That's how the world is. So don't be a woman about it, or don't. Anyway, yeah, ridiculous. Shout out.
I've always thought that too. I've noticed, like, white people aren't really. I mean, they can be confrontational, but they're really trying to avoid that almost at all costs.
Right.
They only want to go there unless they really have to.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember I'd pick on a couple of my friends that are white, and I'm half white. Portuguese, not really white, but
Yeah.
I blend in pretty well. And I would pick on them because of stuff like that. Like, man, you guys are like, do you not like to just bump heads sometimes? Like, I don't mind bumping heads, like, to me, it is what it is. It's going to happen. So I might as well say my 2 cents, where a lot of whites, they just don't.
Yeah.
Until they're pushed too far, then it's like, okay, have a war. See what happens now.
Yeah, they're nice until they're not. There's a saying: white people are nice until they're not, and
Right.
and that's not a good thing. Actually, it's not good for them to be nice, and then it's not good for them to flip that switch either, because you don't want to be too nice and you don't want to be too mean. You want to be right, and so you got to be tough. Like Trump is a little bit one of those tougher whites who doesn't mind a disagreement and hashing it out.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love Trump.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so happy this is all going on.
It's exciting.
Like, I used to go to my buddy's shop all the time, and they hate Trump.
Yeah.
And the last time I went there, they were just, like, mad. They were, like, talking about how the cartel's going to take them out. They can't wait for the cartel. Like, the cartel's going to take out the U.S. government, take over California.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just sitting there like, wow, this is so crazy to live in America and to have people that do not love America and rather see it fall.
That's right.
So I haven't been going around over there because it's just so hard to hear. Like, man, you guys don't see, like, they're peeling your eyes open to what's going on with this corruption, and you're mad about it.
Yeah.
No one's going to be perfect. I know Trump's going to make his mistakes. Like, I have my deals with Trump. Like,
Exactly.
I don't care about Israel and all that. Like, I feel we should not be involved in that at all.
Oh, okay.
Let them fight each other off, send a nuke at the end of it, and then just blow them both up. But, I'm not president, so.
Yeah.
But there's things I don't agree with him on. But, I'm not smart like that. I'm not a business guy like that. I'm not no peace negotiator, so I know they're doing their best. But,
Right.
man, I'm still happy he made it.
Yeah, me too.
So
man.
happy he made it.
You gotta be reasonable with your expectations and stuff. That's cool.
Right.
Great.
Well, within 1 year, hopefully he's going to save me $14,000 instead of giving it to the government.
Good point. Hopefully they come across that stuff. That's cool, man.
Man, I hope they come for more. Imagine if they were able to save every citizen $50,000. That would be wild.
Yeah, especially you guys who pay the most taxes.
Right.
The people who are really well off,
That's what drives me crazy, too, when it comes to taxes. People are like, oh, the rich don't pay. Yeah, you're right. They really don't pay what their fair share should be. But
quote unquote.
When you're making $1 million and you're paying $300,000 in taxes, that's a lot more than someone that's making $50,000 and only paying $20,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
It's still a lot either which way.
It totally
but
is.
A bigger lump sum's coming out of their pocket. So of course, just like me, you've heard me talk about it. I try to find any way I can to not pay taxes.
And that's wise because they're not spending on it on anything good anyway. And DOGE has proven it, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, would you give me all your money? And I tell you, hey, don't worry, I'll invest. I'll put it in places that works best for you. Or would you rather just keep it to yourself and let you do as you will with it?
Keep it to your. I mean, it's better. It's better to trust people with their own money, I think.
Right. Like you don't know me somewhat, but you don't know me personally to be like, okay, here, Manny, here's $20,000 a year. You do what you think's best with it. I'd much rather have it to myself. I want to give my money to somebody.
Yeah.
I would rather waste it myself or save it myself.
Right. Yep. Exactly. That's called freedom.
Right. Welcome to America. Well, hopefully. Well, anyways.
Good to hear from you,
That's
Manuel. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you, man.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Manuel in California. And yes, he goes by Manuel, not Manuel. But shout out to the Manuels. We love them too. If we love anybody. Make sure that you do catch Joel Friday TV. I think that he might be scheduled. Let me see if I can set the redirect for Joel Friday TV. The mysterious case. Oh, it is True Crime Tuesday on the Joel Friday TV podcast. Coming up at 11. Imare Gervasi. Sweet. So let me just type that into the chat. Joel Friday TV, Monday through Thursday, 11 Pacific. That is 1 Central. 2, is it Eastern? I'm kind of on autopilot when I sometimes do that. And he is not, if it's not on Rumble, I can't be bothered to watch it, says Crichton. Is Anchor Baby on? Anchor Baby will be on right after Joel Friday TV. And Crichton, I did advise Joel, I put in my request, please start streaming on Rumble. It's another trouble for it's another headache for Joel Friday TV. He's going to have to wipe the tear from his wife's eyes and say, it'll be okay, baby. And, but he's going to have to do it eventually, I think, hopefully. We'll be on Rumble. But I encourage you, try it out. Try Joel Friday on YouTube. Or punchy.tv/ let's see, is it JF/JFTV? Okay? Yeah. You will be live there. Okay. Whew. One quick item before I get back to the calls. Hang tight, callers. Okay, let's see what we have over here. She was talking about Citizens United. Citizens United had previously used the 2002 Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, known as the McCain-Feingold Act, BCRA, Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, prohibited electioneering communications by incorporated entities. During the 2004 presidential campaign, the organization filed a complaint with FEC, Federal Election Commission, charging that advertisements for Michael Moore's film Fahrenheit 9/11, an anti-Bush propaganda thing, documentary critical of Bush's response to the terrorist attack 2001, constituted political advertising and thus could not be aired within the 30 days before a primary election or 60 days before a general blah, blah, blah. They dismissed it, finding no evidence, blah, 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 featured a candidate. Since they didn't feature a candidate, it was just a hit piece on Bush, so-called documentary. In response, Citizen United produced the documentary Celsius 4111, highly critical of both Fahrenheit 9/11 and 2004 Democratic presidential nominee John Kerry. FEC held that showing that an advertisement for it would violate the Federal Election Campaign Act because they were not a bona fide commercial filmmaker. What a mess. So they became a bona fide commercial filmmaker. What a mess. Did hit pieces on Hillary and stuff like that because they're conservatives. And they called it electioneering communication. Or no. Section 2. I don't know. Interesting. This is too much. I shouldn't have done that. So that's, anyway, this Citizens United was a supposedly conservative group, and that's why the liberals are all of a sudden anti-big money, but then they're pro-big money when it's George Soros, the Netflix CEO, and his wife, Mark Zuckerberg. I heard that Mark Zuckerberg is crazy liberal, or at least his team are. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. People are saying, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Man, oh man. There's so much. There's so much. One quick point. Can I do one quick point? Term limits. Sound nice in theory, says a center-left journalist. Cernovich. Sound nice in theory, but how often do you get a DeSantis or a Trump? Far more likely you get more of the same. Term limits are a cop-out for you refusing to vote in primaries. Totally lazy. Shows a lack of personal involvement and accountability. And somebody stated that Ron Paul, the great Ron Paul, many of you guys like him. Do you like him? He changed his mind. Cernovich stated this, okay? DeSantis being an example of a supposedly pretty good guy, and Trump too, pretty good overall. Common Sense Extremist says Ron Paul even changed his mind on term limits, according to this person, after watching a lot of the 94 revolution. I guess there were a lot of independent Republicans, 94 revolution Republicans. This went kind of over my head. They left due to self-imposed term limits, and they were replaced by big spending neocons. So there goes your principles. Oh, I'm not going to be in the career politician. And so you let career politicians take over. No, be a career politician for Christ. So that's my little point about term limits. Mitch McConnell, in forever. Well, shame on the people voting for him forever. Shame on the people. I get that he's a sleazy / slick / clever, cunning as a serpent, maybe not as innocent as a dove, politician. And it's hard to beat him. All these wet behind the ears, phony, sleazy, wannabe startup politicians trying to challenge Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi. And shout out to them. I could see they were phonies from the start. Shout out. I don't care. Everybody's phony. But you're a phony politician. We can see right through you, and you can't beat Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters. The people are too blind and brainwashed and suckers. Shame on the people. The quality of the people is the problem. Everybody has their own idea of what the problem is. But I think the evil hearts gets to the heart of the issue. Corruption leads to incompetence. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much. Daniel in Texas, on the line here. Daniel, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
Oh, hold on. Let me, I'm sorry, man. Let me get...
You're sounding okay. Yeah, good. Get yourself together.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm together now.
Thanks.
Engines.
American Indians. Yes.
No.
Oh, engines. No. Oh. I was like... I was trying to say it a little bit more politically correct, but you're talking about car engines.
Yes.
That's funny. Yes.
Make
me blush.
Racist. And by racist, I mean you like to race cars. Right?
Indeed. That's right.
Okay. So diesel engines are under heavy fire because of emissions control.
Yeah.
And it really is a misnomer that they have more emission problems than any other engine, like gasoline or natural gas or coal. The reality is it's a very efficient engine. It's a slower engine, and they're used on an industrial scale because of their torque ability. And the difference between diesel and gasoline is the combustion process. That in order to combust diesel, it's a compression. It involves compressing the fuel and air mixture and combust, as opposed to gasoline, which requires a spark to ignite. So gasoline requires an external source to ignite, whereas diesel is purely mechanical. All you have to do is have a compression ratio that allows the fuel to heat with the air and combust. And the caller was talking about EGR, which is emission gas recirculation, and that's a big. What that's supposed to do is control the NOx, the nitrous oxide that is emitted from diesel engines.
Oh, how do you spell NOx?
NOx.
I thought it was NOS.
No, that's different.
Like the energy drink.
That's different.
Okay.
NOx is nitric oxide, and that is what they are trying to control. And the reason it's more prominent with diesel is because the compression ratios of diesel create more heat. And with more heat, you get more NOx.
Ah.
And that's what they're trying to reduce. And the way you reduce NOx is by reducing the heat.
Whoa.
And the way to reduce the heat is emission gas recirculation, which feeds the exhaust into the intake of the engine. And what that does is it creates an environment that is, the exhaust passes through a cooler. It passes through a cooling system called the EGR cooler. And then it's recirculated back to the engine, and it's cooler, which creates less heat. And with less heat, you get less nitric oxide.
Uh-huh.
And that's what's going on. The question is, what is the best way to reduce heat without recirculating the gas? And the answer is, it's very expensive to do it another way. That EGR is the cheapest way to reduce heat.
Oh.
And that's why it's a thing.
Man. What's clean diesel?
So diesel is already clean.
Oh.
They may be referring to a biofuel. Somebody may be able to speak better on that. But as far as diesel is concerned, the invention of diesel was with vegetable oil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and to say to burn clean means that your ratio of oxygen to fuel is so efficient that you have no black smoke, because black smoke is unburnt hydrocarbons, which is your fuel. Hydrocarbon is fuel. Unburnt hydrocarbons are black smoke.
Wow.
And that's not clean. But it's not. The reason it's not clean is because you have fuel that's not being burnt. If a diesel engine is running to its most efficient way, it will not have black smoke. It will have clear smoke.
Yeah.
If it has gray smoke, there's probably a liquid like water or maybe coolant. It could be in the fuel, which is very, very bad. Very bad.
Whoa.
If you have gray smoke, and it'll leave condensation, you will know it by the color, and if you feel it, it'll feel like a mist, and if you like a fog.
Wow.
And you can see the condensation on the muffler.
Yikes.
And that'll be gray smoke. But black smoke is unburnt fuel. It's raw, unburnt fuel, and that's not a good thing either. That means the engine is not getting enough oxygen in order to mix with the fuel and burn clean.
Yeah.
Interesting. The problem with gasoline engines is that they need more air. The problem with diesel engines is they need more of a mixture of air and fuel in order to get the perfect compression ratio.
Wow.
Compression ratios are everything. If you have too high of a compression ratio, you lose power. If you have too low of a compression ratio, you lose power. There is a sweet spot for compression ratios, and that ratio should stay the same from your various sizes, but that's going to decide how hot your engine is running.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, man.
So
it's kind of over my head still.
Okay, my point is EGRs are the cheapest way to reduce heat in a diesel engine and still maintain your torque,
Oh, okay.
your horsepower.
All right.
They're not all bad, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's not, a lot of machine heads want to paint it as a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing.
Because the main issue is protecting the environment from all this NOx in the air.
The main issue is reducing the heat is going to save your engine as well.
Oh.
If you don't need that much torque to do a job,
Yeah.
you don't need an engine running a certain level of heat.
Okay. True.
So it does
sounds
come down to efficiency as well.
Okay. Because some people remove their EGR, the exhaust gas
Unwittingly.
recirculation, to get better improve engine performance, their EGR valve. But that's illegal in all 50 states because they reintroduce harmful NOx into the atmosphere, according to far left Google AI. Don't use Google, kids.
And it's questionable whether it does improve engine performance.
Okay.
If you
in
have
the long run, especially.
Yeah, if it's built with an EGR system, removing it is not necessarily going to be better for your engine or give it more torque or any of the above.
All right, fair enough, man. Well, thank you for the balance. I like knowing not to believe everything, although Manuel's a solid guy. Thanks, man.
Yeah. I'm sure they're all. Anyone who dabbles in engines has their own opinions.
For sure. Thank you, man.
Okay. Bye.
Good to hear from you. Take care. Jeff in Louisiana is about to be on the line here. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding. What's up?
Hey, man, I know you've seen or heard about now the J.D. Vance's speech over Munich.
Oh, yeah, I had mentioned it. I haven't seen it, but I heard that he said the problem in these the enemy of the European countries is within. It's not Russia or China. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, but I was going to tell you, after his speech, I watched the video. They had the leaders of I'm doing air quotes, parentheses, the leaders of the NATO nations.
Yeah.
They had one speaking to all the other ones about what J.D. Vance said, and a dude started crying and couldn't finish his speech.
A dude? A grown man?
Dude.
A grown man? A world?
A grown man with gray hair that leads the country started crying about J.D. Vance's speech.
Really? I'll have to look into this.
And they walk off stage. And then what really gets you is they turn around and say, well, Donald Trump wins the Nobel Prize. The European controls that. Europe controls that.
Say again? Oh, Europe controls what?
The Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, did J.D. Vance say that Donald Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize?
No, but there was a lot of flack last time because of the Abraham Accords. They said Trump should have got his last time as president because of that.
Who said that he should have got it?
A lot of people in the media.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
But they made a little comment, is, well, we control that, so he won't get it. And dude, I tell you what's happening. You may disagree with me. A lot of people will disagree with me, but this is what I think is kind of setting up what I think should happen. Dude, we support the entire world. Everybody in NATO depends on us.
Yeah.
I think we ought to, just my personal wish, I think we ought to move every military base we got in NATO out, bring our troops home. We can line our border with those troops. Let Russia do what it wants to over there with any of those countries, Europe and UK and all that crap. We do like Trump said, we take Canada as the 51st state. Then we truly become the United States because that will connect us to Alaska. and let them have every part of the world.
I'm with you, man.
mean-
I kind of like that idea, not be helping them so much. I think Trump is
Well-
kind of smart like you in that he will threaten to do that, and they'll get in line. And,
Well, you know,
yep.
before, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Before World War II, the reason we didn't get into World War II to begin with is because FDR said no. We're worried about our own stuff. We're not worried about we're not worried about the rest of the world. We're worried about us.
Yeah.
And when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, that's when we got in. But up until that point in our history, the United States worried about the United States.
And that might have been wise, honestly.
And what else? Oh, sorry, crap. They a guy on YouTube was doing a thing the other day. Sorry, give me a second.
Whoa.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I was watching a video on YouTube the other day. It was a reaction video about something else but anyway, it showed a map from the beginning part of Europe. If you drive the beginning part of Europe to Moscow, Russia, guess how far that is compared to the U.S.
Is it like 3 times as big?
No, it's like from driving from California to New York.
Oh, really?
Yes.
From the far side of Europe to the to Munich? To Moscow?
From the western side of Europe,
Uh-huh.
where the ocean ends, to Moscow, is like driving from Los Angeles to New York.
Wow. That's a ways.
It's a ways, but still, it's like
It's not that far, though, honestly.
It's not. I mean, the thing is they want to. You know, they didn't want to have nothing to do with Ukraine. Help support Ukraine against Russia all this time until Donald Trump gets in and starts negotiating a peace, an end of the war. Now that's the end of the war. Europe wants to come in and be involved in it. They didn't want to supply no money, no military, and nothing else.
Yeah, you're talking about Ukraine stuff.
Yeah, until the end. Now it's the end of it. They want to come in and help negotiate peace.
They want to be in on it. They want to have a say when they're a bunch of nothing nobodies.
I say screw them, pull out, and just let them have at it.
I'm for that. I totally agree with you, honestly.
Because we're paying for the entire world. Because, dude, Canada, Fort Bragg, in the United States, just Fort Bragg, has more people than the Canadian military altogether.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's wild.
Fort Bragg has 3,000 more soldiers than the entire Canadian military.
Who knew?
Trump knows.
Yeah, he does. That's cool. Well, thank you for your great call, man.
Yeah, man. I was going to jump out. Just you think about it, just watch what he's doing. He's sitting J.D. Vance over to make a speech to see how they react. Now, if he has to go over and do a speech, just watch what's going to happen. It's going to be something. It's going to be something that happens in this because he's tired of our country getting screwed.
I think there's going to be good changes in the world coming thanks to Trump's having a hand in the dealings.
Yeah, man. Okay, man. Well, I was going to make a point. I'll let you go. You have a good one.
You too. Take care. Jeff in Louisiana. I got to read this quick super chat from Brother Ronnie in Ohio. My brother Hake. I'm surprised, are you, that you weren't aware of what Citizens United is. Indeed, I'd heard the name, and I heard the liberals crying about it, and I heard Mays all the time talking about a corporation is an individual. I'm like, yeah, a corporation is a person. I agree with the caller that what we need to get is this case overturned. The Supreme Court decided it. Corporations, in my opinion, says Ronnie, are not people. Even if someone thinks corporations are people who deserve free speech rights, no one can argue the fact that corporations aren't citizens. Only U.S. citizens should be able to donate money to candidates in our elections, argues Ronnie. Interesting. Ronnie in Ohio. interested in? I don't know. And I don't much care about it. But maybe I should. But I don't. I remain unconvinced. But thank you, Ronnie. Give me a call sometime and we can hash it out. Maybe I should read up on it. Nice. And a quick call from Alan in Michigan on the line here. Joel Friday TV is coming up soon. What's up, Alan in Michigan?
Well, it's cold and frosty up here.
Indeed.
I got up and it was 1 below zero, but it's something called winter.
So much for global warming, am I right? I should get you started.
First it was, you remember, you're not that old. Oh, it's going to be global cooling. Oh, we're going to freeze to death. Then they said, no. We made a mistake. It's global warming. And now they say, well, they hit the middle. They said, oh, it's climate change. Well, so they're right both ways, you know.
I know. Yep.
But the reason I just couldn't, just briefly.
Yes.
This guy, Manuel from California, he has some good callers today.
Yeah.
But he was talking about this $14,000. Well, of course, per citizen, but actually the national debt is more like $106,000 and growing rapidly each day per citizen. So, okay, we understand that. But, okay, I'm going to start bringing in a story from the Bible, real quickie. Remember the story of the pounds when the Lord gives each of the 3 men the pounds?
Or the talents, or the money, or the items of money, yeah.
The pounds or the talent, right. And the first one gains 5. The other one was 10 or whatever. But the last one says, well, you know what? I took it and buried it in the ground. There's a whole story behind that. Well,
yes.
Your caller, Manuel, being a number crunching hobbyist, said something quite interesting. I thought, I got to include this. Many years ago, 1976 it was, there was a minister I used to listen to and support, one of the few good ones, in my opinion. And he found out that there were some number crunchers back there, some guys who were just fooling around with a computer. And they said, well, what if you took that pound and you applied, say, 5% interest to it? What would it grow to? And they put it into a computer and it spit out the results. And it said that 1 talent or 1 pound of gold at, I believe it was 5%. I can't, tell you for sure. Well, that's pretty low back at that time because, the Code of Hammurabi allowed 20 to 30% interest, which are like credit card rates today. In any case, they put it in the computer, it spit out the results, and it came out with 3 balls of gold, each the size of the planet Earth.
Wow, that's a lot. That's crazy. That's mind-blowing.
That's what usury or interest does, one of the things I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
And I hope that, Elon Musk and Trump and everything do something. But basically, I hate to say this, but I will. It's like trying to arrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. You cannot have a system where you allow interest on money. It doesn't work. Every empire that's ever existed, when they allowed interest on money, has collapsed. Everyone.
Wow.
Remember?
I mean, every civilization has collapsed, though, hasn't they?
Yes, and we're at the end of ours now.
Is it because they did that?
Yes, that's part of, it was, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, which is quite a statement.
Well, I think it's the root of all manner. Well, yeah. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So when Belshazzar was having his, essentially was a orgy.
I think it means all kinds of evil, not all evil, because there's a whole lot of evil in like pride and ego that has nothing to do with money,
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I fully agree on that.
All right.
But when they...
Oh, you're cutting out. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Getting wonky again.
Yeah.
When Belshazzar had his big party and the handwriting on the wall came up and and it said meany, tekel, all that. Well, they brought in Daniel to read it. I believe it was in Hebrew, and they didn't understand Hebrew. But in any case,
wrap it up in a minute or less, please.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
It meant basically this: your empire is bankrupt.
Wow.
That's it. And our empire, the USA Federal Corporation Empire, not America, is bankrupt. Enough said. Thank you for taking my call.
Great, man. Great point. It's dangerous times, Alan. Thanks, dude. Take care. If you'll
you too.
Forgive me calling you that. All right. Bye.
Bye.
A shout out to the boomers. Guys, I have to close up. I have to wrap things up. Callers, I cannot get to you. Justin in California wanted to talk about dealing with prisoners at the border. And everybody else, I got to end. It is. I didn't get to do Mexican Monday. So we're doing Taco Tuesday, guys. This is my favorite cumbia. Hopefully she's not saying something bad. I don't know what they're saying. Tierra. Mi lindo barrio querido. Chambacu, Chambacu. Mi tierra que no la olvido. Is this a clarinet? Like a baritone clarinet? Mexican Tuesday. Is this a child? Dual Friday coming up next. My love. Something? I think I heard that on a Mel Gibson movie one time, but I heard it with my friends, my old coworkers. Take care, guys. Bye.